Her name was Marie Artichaut. She was 7. Her mother, Teresa Green, had braided her hair that morning, thick and black, a symbol of dignity. That night, she was gone, taken by train to a place far from her tribe, taken to be changed.
From the moment white Europeans stepped on American soil, they viewed Native people as a problem to be solved. In the 1700s, the U.S. government began pushing tribes off their land, not because of conflict, but because native lands were rich. Rich in timber, in water, in minerals, in life. In 1819, the U.S. Congress passed the Civilization Act Fund, which gave money to missionaries to educate Native children. But the education came with conditions. They must speak English, dress like white children, and abandon everything they knew. In 1877, Congress passed the Dawes Act, meant to break apart tribal unity and privatize native land. But with it came a new directive: assimilate native children into white Christian culture by removing them from their families. Army Captain Richard Henry Pratt had an idea: create schools far away, off reservation, military style, uniforms, bells, punishment. He opened Carlisle Indian Industrial School in 1879. His motto? Kill the Indian in him and save the man. That same year, 84 Lakota children were taken from the Dakota Territory, many without their parents' consent.
The train screeched into Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Dozens of Native children stepped down in silence, holding hands, eyes wide. They had been taken from their language. Now they would lose even more. They cut my braids while I screamed. My hair was my pride. They said it was dirty. I felt naked. They were stripped of their traditional clothes and forced into stiff military uniforms. Names like Chayton or Wakasa were replaced with Thomas and William. Their gods? Replaced with Sunday church. Their language? Forbidden. They were beaten if they spoke it. In the words of a survivor, we came as Lakota. We were told Lakota was evil.
Christian missionaries saw themselves as saviors, but their crosses cast long shadows. Children were told that their parents' beliefs would send them to hell. They were baptized, not in faith, but in fear. One student recalled, "They said my parents would burn forever. I stopped praying to my ancestors."
Discipline was harsh. Children were isolated, whipped, humiliated in front of others. A young girl named Zipkalasa, later a writer, described how she hid under a bed to save her hair. They found her, strapped her down. Quote, "I cried aloud, shaking with sobs. Then I felt them cut, my thick braids, gone." End quote. Some children ran away. Some died from illness. Some died from suicide. Others never spoke of what happened again. Many returned home years later, unable to speak their native tongue, unrecognizable to their own families. A generation of children were taught to be ashamed of themselves. That trauma didn't end there. It passed on. Depression, alcoholism, disconnection. The scars of erasure lingered long after the schools closed. One mother refused to stay silent. Her name was Teresa Green. They took her daughter, Marie Artichaut, to Carlisle. She fought for years, wrote letters, knocked on doors, defied orders. Finally, she won. Marie came home. But the girl who returned was not the same girl who left. Teresa later said, "I got her back, but they took something I can never return to her."
Boarding schools lasted for over 100 years. Thousands of children erased from tribes, from land, from memory. In 2021, the U.S. formed the Truth and Healing Commission on Indian boarding schools. But healing takes time, and remembering is just the beginning. So we ask you, what does it mean to kill the Indian in a child? What happens when a government decides your culture doesn't belong?
For every child who cried in silence, for every language silenced in classrooms, for every mother who never stopped waiting at the door, we remember you. We say your names. We tell your stories. Because silence is complicity.